An extrovert always gotta go out. Always gotta go out no matter what's going on. Always want to be in the mix. Y'all expect the same response out of everybody. Y'all don't learn from the interactions that y'all encounter in life. And I think a lot of times extroverts don't really listen to introverts because they think we're boring and we need to live a little bit more. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. You're watching CTV. My name is Kalandra and I'm back with another video. And today I'm going to talk about how I truly feel about you extroverts. I can't stand y'all. I don't like y'all. Just playing. I judge a person based off of their character, how they treat me, and how they treat everybody else around them. I don't care if you're an introvert or extrovert. You know, this video is for shits and giggles. But a lot of y'all do have these traits that I'm about to talk about. So I'm going to get into it. And if it don't apply, let it fly. I consider myself an introvert. And if you haven't been on my channel before, you could watch a bunch of my other videos. I talked about it so many different times. There's so many different fonts. Yeah, I consider myself mostly an introvert that has extrovert qualities. There's some extroverts that have introvert qualities. I think nobody is 100% an extrovert. I'm sorry, I don't think everybody is an extrovert 100% of the time anyway. But here are some traits that I've noticed about a lot of extroverts. I think we live in an extrovert's world. We're in a world where we have to go out into the public and interact with each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like interacting with people. God made us to be, you know, to live with each other, to love each other, to nurture each other, to learn from each other, to be friends. That's why we were all put on this planet. We're all different people, but we were put on this planet to live in harmony, even though we don't. But that's a whole nother conversation. So I'm always going to have a certain love for people. Like, why would I not like people? If you don't like people, there's something wrong with you. Like, to a certain extent, I like people. But extroverts, you know, are more open and willing to make friends and, you know, let people in more often than I would, or another introvert. Sometimes I wish I could be more extroverted. Sometimes I wish I had certain traits, because I've considered myself a little socially awkward, and sometimes I just have a hard time approaching people or, you know, conversating or carrying conversations. But it also depends on what I'm talking about. A lot of things I went through growing up is why I consider myself an introvert, and why I'm just I just keep myself at a distance from people. But for people who are extroverts, I feel like I'm kind of envious. Not really envious, but I kind of wish I had more traits when it comes to making more friends. Like, I think extroverts are quicker to make friends. I don't know about keeping them, because I think I do know how to keep friends, but extroverts are quicker to make friends. It's easier to make friends. It's easier to carry conversation. It's easier to relate to people. It's just easier to talk to people, and I feel like it's less of an intimidation factor when it comes to most extroverted people. Y'all are more willing, more open, just more charismatic, you know how to deal with people in any scenario. And I wish I had a little bit more of that. And of course, anything you want to change about yourself, you pretty much can. So I think I'm better at socializing now more than I was in the past. Y'all have more of an open factor when it comes to dealing with people, and it's not much of a second guess. Like, y'all are more confident. Like, y'all have more of this confidence that sometimes introverts, or I would say myself, don't have when it comes to talking to people. And certain interactions, I feel like y'all are more open to, if that makes sense, and I will get into that later in this video. I think with extroverts, y'all are more open to being friends with more people and having more friends. And sometimes I wish, like, when I go on social media and I would see like a big group of girls hang out together and, you know, go to brunch, go on trips and do all this stuff, and sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I had like all of these friends to do stuff with. Even though I'm thankful for the few friends that I have, and sometimes we are able to like make a group outing because they have their friends and I may have other friends, and, you know, whatever. But it's not always like that. It could be just me or one other friend, or me and two friends, but Like, some things are just more fun with a group of people, and I feel like I don't need a group of people to have fun. However, sometimes I wish like I had more people to do certain things with. And a lot of times extroverts, they have friends for all different types of occasions. Like, they have the friend that they can go to the gym with, they have a friend that they can go to a party with, they have friends that they could travel with. Like, they have all types of different relationships, and it's easier for them to make and maintain those type of relationships. While introverts, we don't have that much of an open opportunity to call up this person or call up that person. And I feel like extroverts are going to have more of a support system. However, there is a downside to that. I think I'm selective of who I choose as friends because of things I went through in the past. And I think everybody should be selective of who, you know, they feel like they should be friends with, because not everybody is your friend. So people who let in more people and are more trusting of people are going to end up having more of a chance of dealing with backlash from that. What I mean by that is just inviting the wrong people into their lives, into their circles, because they talk to so many more people. And that could go into dating as well. Like, an extroverted person is probably going to be, you know, more open to dating, more open to intimate partners, and that can invite more things that could lead to drama or could lead to just bad things. And that can happen to anybody. As an introvert, you know, I may not have had a lot of friends in my lifetime, but I had, you know, bad friendships that I kept around just because me being an introvert, I was comfortable with those people. So I didn't put myself out there to get to know more people and find that opportunity to have, you know, less toxic friendships. So extroverts, like, y'all have more of an opportunity to find more genuine friendships, but y'all also are inviting more opportunities for toxic friendships at the same time. And I often find that extroverts keep a lot of people around just for the sake of boredom, for the sake of not wanting to be alone. And I talk about that so many times. But for the sake of not wanting to be alone, even though those people are not good for you and don't have the best intentions for you. And when it comes to dating, inviting more people into your body intimately can lead to more spaces of soul ties or heartbreak or toxicity or just problems with other relationships involved, and then diseases. And I'm not with that. Like, a lot of people shame me for not being intimate with a lot of people in my lifetime, but I feel no regret about it because I, you know, haven't had to worry about facing too much of those issues because of that, and I'd rather not have to deal with that. You know, so that's kind of how I feel about when extroverts are more open to people. I feel like also more extroverts are more likely to throw parties or to have gatherings, get-togethers, you know, and just invite a bunch of people in their home. And there's nothing wrong with throwing a get-together. I would throw a get-together as well. But when it comes to my home, it's just more sacred to me. That's the place where I go recharge, relax, and I don't feel comfortable with a lot of people, especially the wrong people, being in my space. Knowing where I live at, knowing where my stuff is, it doesn't feel right to me. But then again, you know, I've dealt with certain people being in my space that didn't need to be. So that's why I'm a lot more cautious of who I invite over my space. But extroverts are more open to having people in their energy. And a lot of times, me being the introvert, I feel like I'm more of the introvert of most of my friendships. I can read a situation before it can even happen. And a lot of extroverts have to find out things the hard way, and they believe because a lot of introverts don't have, like, I guess, experience with certain things, we don't have the criteria to give advice when it comes to people. So they don't listen, but they have to kind of find out the hard way. But a lot of times I would witness, like, my friends and then their friendships, and I would see certain things and I'm like, that person isn't really your friend, or I would be cautious of that person or whatever. But again, because maybe I'm not the person to give that type of advice, because they notice I don't really talk to nobody, you know, they're going to have to find out the hard way. And I think a lot of times extroverts don't really listen to introverts because they think we're boring and we need to live a little bit more, which could be true in some cases, but sometimes living a little too much can be draining, can just lead to a lot of other problems that we don't really care for. And it's like some things worth going through just to have a story to tell, because I've noticed a lot of extroverts would really do stuff just to have a story to tell in the future. And granted, when life happens, it's like literally a lot of stuff you could tell stories about. Like me as an introvert, I feel like there's a lot of interesting things that have happened in my life that I could tell a story about without me even looking for it, not without me searching for it. But that's just me though. Another thing I really don't like about extroverts, and this is not an I hate extroverts video. If you paid attention in the beginning, I gave y'all flowers for how, you know, I admire the fact that extroverts could just be out there, can talk to people, you know, don't have issues, don't have social anxiety for real. Like I already talked about that, so don't come for me. But this is something I also don't like about extroverts, and I feel like a lot of y'all want to talk just to talk, and a lot of y'all don't have the best intentions. But let me just get into the talking just to talk. A lot of times this happens in the workplace environment where people just want to talk just to say, oh yeah, we work together, so we need to speak. And I get it. You know, I'm courteous when it comes to that, but I feel like oftentimes people who talk just to talk, you know, want to have certain interactions that I personally don't care for, and a lot of introverts personally don't care for. When we interact with people, we don't want to deal with certain things. We don't want people asking us stupid questions. We don't want to talk about stupid things that just don't mean nothing to us. So a lot of times I get approached by extroverts. They'll ask me stupid questions or talk about things I don't care about, and they think we come off as rude or, you know, boring because we don't care about certain interactions that y'all care for. And I think with a lot of extroverts, like people that are more bold and out there, a lot of people are kind of afraid to kind of put y'all in y'all place, like kind of like be honest with y'all about certain things. And I think a lot of extroverts are not socially aware because honestly, when you're always in somebody's face, you don't really take time for yourself. In my opinion, I feel like I had to take time for myself for me to know who I am as a person and know certain things that I do that may trigger other people, may annoy other people, may annoy myself even. And extroverts don't really think about that. I think some of y'all, you know how to socialize, but a lot of y'all don't have social cues, don't know how to read the room, and y'all just say any and everything just to have that type of conversation or just to have certain interactions that other people don't care for, and people don't put y'all in y'all place. So when somebody doesn't respond a certain way that y'all are used to when it comes to certain things or how y'all treat certain people, you can't treat everybody the same way. You cannot treat everybody the same way. What's cool to somebody else may not be cool to the next person. And a lot of extroverts don't realize that, and they don't care to learn that. So that's why I kind of have an issue with some extroverts, because when somebody just doesn't respond the same way, they're automatically a weirdo, they're automatically rude, they're automatically not a people person, when you just ain't approached that person correctly and you don't care to get to know that person. You don't care. And a lot of times y'all like to do this thing where y'all like to pick people's brains and see what their temperature is, and then like when things don't go a certain way, it's like it leads to a certain shock factor, a certain level of hurt or just embarrassment, when it's like, just don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hopefully I explained that right, but most people will understand. A lot of y'all think it's okay to just touch people. A lot of y'all think it's okay to be in people's personal space. Things like that a lot of introverts just don't respond to very well. And maybe even other extroverts as well. Like, it just really depends on the person. And a lot of people that I find are extroverted don't respect people's boundaries. Y'all expect the same response out of everybody. Y'all don't learn from the interactions that y'all encounter in life. Another issue that I kind of have with extroverts is I think a lot of y'all cover up your personalities with the fact that you're very friendly and bubbly, with the fact that a lot of y'all are not good people and are very shady, and you know, don't have the best intentions when y'all do talk to people. Like I said, people will literally talk to people to pick their brain and to see how they're going to react or what they can bring out of that person. And I think extroverts, like, y'all may know how to act friendly, y'all may know how to be nice, but a lot of times it comes off as fake nice because y'all will be the main ones to keep people around and not really genuinely like them just because you want to have a person around, just because you want to have somebody to get information out of. That's why sometimes when people ask me certain questions, I'm genuinely concerned of if they're trying to get to know me as a person, or are they just trying to pick my brain or have something to talk about. You know, they want to have information so they have something to talk about me with. A lot of people that, you know, are nice to your face and talk shit about you behind your back are mostly extroverts. And I go through that a lot in the workplace, a lot of that in real life. You know, people that are extroverted, want to be in everybody's face, don't have the best intentions, don't truly actually like people, and don't truly want to be your friend. They just want to have information about you to either talk about you or sabotage you or one up you. So things like that is why I don't like some of y'all extroverts, and I don't trust y'all. Extroverts will either have people that play in their face or they be the people that play in your face. It's either one or the other. And my last pointer about extroverts is the fact that they will go anywhere. And what I mean by they don't read the room, like literally tragedy could happen in a city, right? But because extroverts are more willing to go anywhere without any fear because they want to experience life, I think a lot of y'all don't read the room and don't really care about what's going on around y'all. And like literally a tragedy could happen in one city and y'all be the ones who go to that city the next day. Now granted, it happened in that moment for whatever reason, and then the next day nothing could happen. But still, it's just the fact that y'all are still willing to go there. Like, y'all are more willing to go anywhere and not do the research or not really know what y'all are getting into. And it's okay to live life spontaneously and not have to do research about everything, because sometimes you just want to find out, and that's cool. But a lot of times y'all be taking unwarranted chances with life because of the sake of wanting to live it up and not be boring and not do this and not do that. And it just be no. Like, I would be like, hell no. Y'all would be the ones who always want to go out to the club every weekend, always want to do this, always want to do that. And it's like, okay, can we just stay at home? Can we just, you know, go to each other's house and watch a movie or something? But no, an extrovert always got to go out. Always got to go out no matter what's going on. I always want to be in the mix. And sometimes that could be a life-alternating decision that I am not willing to take certain chances with life. But that's all I feel about extroverts. I have no issue with y'all. Y'all are cool people. I think we need y'all in the world. But I just think it is an extrovert's world, and slowly, you know, it's making a space for the introverts. I think since the virus happened, you know, we had more opportunities like stay-at-home jobs, DoorDash, Instacart, stuff like that, so we don't really have to get out the house. And I just feel like just a slight bit of resentment just because we have to kind of fit ourselves into extrovert spaces when we don't always want to. But I understand why the world is the way it is. I understand why things are the way they are. I understand the importance of networking, talking to people, building relationships. I understand that. I just wish introverts had more of a space and had more acceptance into this world. That's all I had to say in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.